He used another storm to get them out of a storm. Don't be surprised if God does it an unusual way. Like Paul and Silas, you may feel like you're in the middle of trouble, dealing with an illness, worried about your finances, concerned about your children. What you're up against seems bigger, stronger, but you have to do like them and recognize you're not just in the middle of difficulty, you're in the middle of a miracle. If you will start thanking God that He's working, thanking Him that He's bigger than what you're facing, thanking Him that He's holding up the walls of water, then you're going to see situations suddenly turn around. Suddenly you get well. Suddenly your child gets back on course. Suddenly that problem resolves. When you're in the middle, you have to turn up your praise. Father, thank you that no weapon formed against me will prosper. Thank you that this difficulty didn't come to stay, it came to pass. Thank you that even now things are changing in my favor. I know a young man named Chris that's been attending Lakewood with his family since he was 9 years old. He grew up healthy and very active, but at 17, he started having fever and fluctuation in his weight. He eventually lost the strength and mobility in his legs. After 2 weeks in the hospital, he was diagnosed with a rare form of lupus. He could have been discouraged, given up on life, but Chris is a fighter. He knew he wasn't just in the middle of a rare sickness, he was in the middle of a miracle. He decorated the walls of his house with scripture verses. I will live and not die, and declare the works of the Lord. By His stripes I am healed. Chris started volunteering here at Lakewood. I would see him faithfully serving, helping others year after year. I've never heard Chris complain, never seen him without a smile. If you ask him how he's doing, he's going to tell you that he's blessed, that he's healed, that he has the favor of God. And it's one thing to believe that when everything's going your way. That's easy. The real test comes when life throws you a curve, when you're facing something that's out of your control. Chris continued to struggle with his health. One day he looked like he'd gained 50 pounds. Another day he looked skin and bones. He spent time in and out of the hospital fighting the good fight of faith. Didn't seem like he was in the middle of a miracle. The medical report said he would never get well. But God can do what medicine cannot do. Medical science may run out of options, but God never runs out of options. He breathed life into you. He has the final say. Chris is 40 years old now. Last year, after fighting over 20 years, his heart and kidneys began to fail. In October, he was hospitalized and given a temporary pump to keep his heart beating. The doctor said his only chance of survival was a heart transplant. He was placed on the waiting list, but there were so many ahead of him, it seemed unlikely that he would make it. He's been in the hospital the last 5 months in ICU. The doctors told him that all of his organs would start to shut down. Chris wouldn't hear of it. He kept declaring health, wholeness, victory, and much to their surprise, he defied the odds and his other organs remained healthy. Last week, his wife unexpectedly received the call that they had been praying for so long. There was a donor for Chris. It just so happened it was a perfect match. Not only a heart like they were praying for, but there were 2 kidneys as well. The family stood outside and took pictures of the ambulance arriving with Chris's new organs. He had the heart and kidney transplant at the same time. The surgery was successful, and Chris is well on his way to the life he's always been dreaming about, healthy and whole. There was a prayer he prayed every day from Psalm 51. God, create in me a clean heart. He said, God not only gave me a new heart, but He gave me kidneys as well. That's the way our God is. He exceeds our expectations. It may look like that sickness is permanent. That addiction is never going to change. You'll never see your family restored. It's too late. The problem's too big. Can I encourage you? You're in the middle of a miracle. God already has the solution. He's already lined up the good breaks, the healing, the right people. Don't believe the lies that you've seen your best days. Do like Chris. Live from a place of faith, a place of trust. When you look at the circumstances, you could be negative, worried, thinking it's never going to change. But if Chris were here, he would tell you, God is a faithful God. Your time is coming. He's not only going to do what you ask, but He's going to exceed your expectations. The Scripture says, is there anything too hard for the Lord? He spoke worlds into existence. He flung stars into space. He has you in the palm of His hand. What He's destined for your life will come to pass. I believe right now faith is rising in your heart. Dreams are coming back to life. Promises that you've given up on are about to be fulfilled. You may be in a difficult time, but have a new perspective. You're in the middle of a miracle. The enemy wouldn't be coming against you if he didn't know something amazing was in your future. This is not the time to live worried, afraid. The God who breathed life into you is watching over you. He's keeping the walls up. He's pushing back the opposition. He's ordering your steps, putting you at the right place at the right time. Isaiah said, say to the righteous, it shall be well with you. You are the righteous. You wouldn't be listening if you didn't have a heart after God. And there's a lot of fear and panic in the world, but this virus is not going to stop your destiny. It shall be well with you. The medical report may not look good. You've been dealing with that sickness for years. It's not permanent. It shall be well with you. Healing is on the way. You lost a loved one. You don't think you can go on. It's not the end. God has a new beginning. Let this phrase sink down in your spirit. It shall be well with you. You had a setback in your finances. Business is slow. You don't know how you're going to make it. God has it all figured out. He's your provider. He clothes the lilies of the field. He feeds the birds of the air. He knows how to take care of you. New doors are going to open. Opportunities are going to come looking for you. It shall be well with you. Now, the circumstances may look the opposite. Things are coming against you in your health, your finances, a relationship. It may not be well now, but you have this promise, it shall be well. The opposition, the trouble, the lack is not the end. Why? You're in the middle of a miracle. Victory is coming. Healing is coming. Freedom is coming. New levels are coming. He used another storm to get them out of a storm.